What? Okay. Welcome to the Unexpected Detour, where in life we celebrate unplanned paths and beauty that unfolds when faith meets resilience. I'm your host, Frances Hammond, and today's episode is a reminder that redemption is real and purpose can rise from pain. My guest, Ken Miller, CFRE, is proof of that. From battling addictions and incarceration to become an award-winning fundraising consultant and president of Denali FSP, Ken's journey is one of extraordinary transformation. He's not only helping organizations raise funds, he's helping people raise hope. To settle in, take a deep breath, open your heart for this conversation entitled Becoming Ken, a journey of resilience, purpose, and philanthropy. And Ken, welcome to the Unexpected Detour. I'm honored to have you here today.
Well, thank you, Frances, and thank you to the listeners who are part of this podcast. I'm looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it for a while now, so thank you.
Yeah, I was looking forward too. I prepared some questions, everything. So let's begin with your story, Becoming Ken.
Mhm.
Can you share what that journey looked like for you?
Sure. Let's take the high level 30,000 foot view. I'm 63 years old. 1962, my mother was a white teenage runaway in New York. My father was a black pimp and drug dealer. And they engaged, and I'm the byproduct of that relationship. And at adoption, my mother put me up for adoption at birth, which is pretty common. In 62, there wasn't a lot of biracial children. I didn't really understand that as a child. All I knew is that I was a foster child and that I did not have a mother. At age 6, I was adopted by Irene and Sam Miller. Great occasion for me because now I had someone I can identify as my mother. I grew up in upstate New York. I was what they call precocious. When I was adopted at age 6, I couldn't read, I could not write, I could not tell time, I could not even tie my shoes because the foster homes were not teaching me that. So my mother taught me how to read that first summer. I fell in love with reading. And by second grade, I was reading at the 5th grade level. By the time I was 17, I was a National Merit Scholar. I was accepted to Dartmouth College and also to Harvard. I chose Dartmouth. And 4 years later, 1984, I graduated with a degree, which I tell everybody I had a degree in fraternity with a minor in drinking, because that's what I did in college, and got out and went into the corporate world and worked for 3M Corporation, Kodak. But unfortunately, about 2 years after I graduated from college, I relapsed because I had gotten sober at age 21, and I relapsed, and I was to spend the next approximately 20 years on the streets as a homeless individual. I also am a 3-time convicted felon and have spent years behind bars. In 2004, I was arrested on September 22nd, 2004. And for the third felony, I was sentenced to 3 years, but more importantly, 1 month after I was arrested in October of 2004. And just so the listener understands, I've been sober and clean ever since. So I just celebrated 21 years with the grace of God. Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, 1 month after, and I'll give this high view. 1 month after I was arrested, I was laying on my bunk in jail awaiting sentencing, and I had a conversation with God. I say that I didn't have a conversation. I listened to God.
Right.
God had been talking to me for a long time, but I took the time to listen and not fight him, fight God as I would define him. And but what I heard was, this is not going to be easy. This is not going to be without pain. And I'm talking about my journey in sobriety, but that I will always be there by your side and supporting you and helping you and helping you. And what I mean, one of the most important things, helping me to understand what is God's will as opposed to my selfish will. And I've been clean and sober literally ever since. I have not wanted to drink or drug ever since that day on that bunk in Unit 13, Par Boulevard in Sparks, Nevada. So that,
Oh,
is a story and that's the pivot point, but there's a lot of other things that we can discuss. But that got me clean and sober. And then it was up to me to be the best representation of God's will that I could. We can talk it, but can you walk it? That's a
right.
question I ask people. So and then the other thing I always like to say is today, I'm a business owner, I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm a mentor, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather. I own 5 businesses, I have employees, I have contractors, and I have a beautiful, beautiful life. So just want to make sure the audience
You still
understands.
live in New York?
I am in
Or-
Bellingham, Washington,
Oh, okay.
but I
Okay.
grew up in Anchorage, Alaska. That's where I grew up.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, so you were born in New York,
Yep.
raised in Alaska.
Mhm.
Oh,
And then went back to New Hampshire.
how was Alaska?
Alaska was wonderful. And the reason I say that, I want, again, the listeners to hear this. The thing that's beautiful about Alaska, and I was in the big city, 250,000 Anchorage, is that they will give you an opportunity no matter who you are. They don't care if you're black. They don't care if you're an ex-addict or an ex-alcoholic. Can you do the job? So there's not a lot of nepotism. There's not a lot that my father's going. Anchorage has only been around 100 years total. And so there's not a lot of ingrown, I'll get you a job because I'm related to you, and or you have to have all these qualifications and information behind your name to state that you can do the job. Okay, we're going to give you a shot. If you can do it, you got a good job. And so there's great opportunity in Alaska.
Really? And it has those 6 months of darkness? I'm veering off, but I'm just wondering, it really has the 6 months of darkness? Or, and,
In some areas, yes, that's very,
oh,
very true.
so
That's
it's
up
not.
north. No. So at the worst, what would happen is that the sun would come up, let's say 10:30, 11, and then it would get dark about 3:34 in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
It's still 4 o'clock, 4:30 is dark. You're driving around in the
Oh,
dark.
okay. Oh, okay. What gave you the courage to come out publicly about what you went through? Your
God,
deep
God.
God.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you felt good about it, right?
Yeah.
It
I
was
have
like
a
a weight
gift.
being lifted.
Francis, I have a gift. And my gift is the ability to speak from the stage, to write in books, to share truth without fear of the consequences of truth. Most people live by their secrets. I don't. I don't. There's not a single thing that I have not discussed literally in the public realm that has to do with me. Now, there's things
Right.
I will not tell you about my wife or my family because that's them. But if it had to do with me, I'd talk about it
Right.
to allow others to know that God's grace is working through me. That gives me the
Mhm.
allowance to be able to share my truth without embarrassment and or fear.
Okay.
That's a gift.
Okay, let me see. You don't have, I think you covered everything that I was gonna ask you.
Oh, I can talk about things you haven't asked me.
True, that's true. That is true. So I'm looking at what I have written down because You answered it all the questions at one time. So let me see. I have many people listening might still be in that place of shame or fear, wondering if they can come back from their mistakes. What would you tell them?
You tell them number one, yes. So let's hear that first. Yes, you can come back. If I can come back, and so what I do is when I share my strengths, many times what you're looking at is magnitude. You're looking at, oh, well, what I did was so much worse than what you did. Therefore, mine is different. You probably haven't done worse than what I've done or had happened to me is worse. And I'm not here to say what has happened to me is any worse than your feelings or what has happened, but understand that you can come back. I've come back from number one. My father shot my mom 5 times, shot her.
Wow.
Okay. And then came to shoot me at my job, shot her at her job. I dealt with that situation, which is a situation of going to the hospital and seeing your mom on a gurney with the blood coming through the sheets. That I remember.
That
Or
was before you became a foster child?
no,
Or,
no, this happened when I was 23 years old. So I got
oh,
out of college. My father had been divorced from my mom for 5 years. He got drunk and decided that he would shoot her and then shoot me. I was the only child. And then go on his merry way because that's the best his maybe alcoholic brain could think. Well, the gun jammed, so he never had a chance to shoot me. And so I went and saw my mom before, pre-op, and she was just so happy I was alive because he's telling her while he's shooting her that he was going to shoot me. Okay,
okay.
so and she was worried about me as a mother.
Right.
And but the key, so there's a couple of keys. There's key is how you deal with those situations. At the time, I did not deal with them well, but I have dealt with them well since. And then the other, first of all, I had guilt because I knew my dad had a gun and I could have took the gun the 2 days before, and I didn't. So I had to deal with that. Then I had to deal with the feelings of anger and violence that I wanted to do to my father. And how do I forgive him for that? This is the woman, I love my mother more than probably any human being in the world. Okay. Especially at that time. And so, anyway, I've learned how to deal with that. So, I'm just giving you some examples of the severity of the setbacks that I have had as a human. When I was 20 years old, I was raped by another man. I put myself in a situation where I was physically raped. Okay. How do you talk about that as a Black man? How do I talk about that? And how do I articulate that feeling of taking a shower for 5 hours and still feeling dirty? How do you
Right.
articulate that?
Right.
How do you articulate the guilt that I put myself into that situation? How do you deal with the anger I had at that gentleman? And I call him a gentleman today. I have forgiven him. I'm I've moved on. You see what I'm saying? How do you talk about and deal with the power of shame? I was a male prostitute on the streets. That was one of the things that I did to pay for my crack addiction, which is about the lowest thing other than child crimes against children that you can be, okay, in the penitentiary or on the streets is a male prostitute. I was that. I speak to that. And I've taken away the shame of that. And that was a big one for me. And I had to go to counseling, or I chose to go through counseling. But in the end, again, God was with me. God was with me. And now I've talked about it in live on stage. I've talked about it on 30 or 40 podcasts. Again, to take away the power of that. I've gone to kill someone on 3 occasions. I've had on 3 occasions people come to kill me and been in those situations that we deal with on the streets. I've been homeless. I've slept in abandoned cars, abandoned homes. I've been beat up and put into the hospital on 3 occasions. I've had my jaw broken twice, my eye orbital broken, and my nose broken. So I know violence. And I have put people in the hospital. And how do you forgive yourself of that? How do you deal with the situation of the trauma of the violence? I had a father. We already said what he did to my mom. Think about what he did to me in violence. I know what it is to hide out. I know what it is to leave in the middle of the night and get the motel room. I know what it is to literally walk around with fear that you could cut with a knife. Fear. I'm talking about it's like around you. Fear. I know what that is to be that scared. I've been that way on the streets, but I grew up that way. I know what it's like to not have a mother and or to feel as though you're not having a mother. And I did that, for my first 6 years. I can only remember probably around age 4 to age 6 and not. I know what it's like to meet your birth mother after 50 years and to be able to sit down and forgive her and try to understand her side of the story, which 100% I do understand now. But I didn't know that.
Do
You
you
see what
have
I'm
a
saying? So
relationship with her? Did you have a
I did.
relationship
Oh,
with
yeah, most definitely. Before she passed away, I'm the trustee of my nephew and niece. I'm the
her?
trustee.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I have a beautiful relationship with my family. I call it the white side. I have a beautiful relationship with them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it
But I
is.
like the
It really
fact that
is.
you're very transparent about your journey,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
Why
it
not?
makes a difference because I know I wrote something in the writing. It was like a release, you know,
Yes.
just a release of everything that you've held in. I was able to release it, and it felt good.
Yep.
So the book didn't come out yet, but I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'm in the process of writing this memoir, and I did write
Sweet.
another book, and I'm writing another one is in the process of being published, so I didn't get there yet. So,
Yep.
I'm doing something. That's why I told you I want to be like you. Now, professionally, you've built an incredible legacy. Incredible. Certified fundraising executive, certified master trainer, president of Denali. What inspired you to devote your life to helping others in the nonprofit world? I need to know.
So when I moved up to Anchorage, I got my first job. That job ended. I was playing basketball at an age that I was too old to be playing basketball in a league, and I snapped my Achilles tendon. So I was laid up for literally about a month and a half because I had a boot. I couldn't drive because I had a boot. Can't push the pedal. So anyway, I lost that job. And then I was looking for a job, and there was a position called a development director at Beans Cafe. Now I had been going to Beans Cafe as a soup kitchen. And, I'd spent 20 years in soup kitchens down in Reno, Sacramento, Seattle, Jackson, Mississippi, all the places that I had my addiction. And so when I went in there and became their fundraising person, that's what a development, that's what we call development is fundraising. I fell in love with it because I knew that world, and I'm on the other side. I'm the guy wearing the suit and tie. But I can go down into the facility. It was a day shelter and feeding facility. And I can see me. I can especially see the brothers. I know what time it is. I've been there. I did 20 years of that. Like, see, one of the not difficulties, but one of the funny things is that when people see me, they have no concept that this guy's been to prison 3 times, spent years in prison, was homeless for 20 years, did the things that he did. Remember, they only caught me for some of them. Thank goodness. I had a kidnapping, armed robbery, all kinds of insanity that I had back in the day. But, so I go into this world and I fell in love with the nonprofit world because, we're there to help society. We're there to help our fellow man. I don't care if you're doing, work in environmental or you're doing work in higher ed. These are all nonprofits. What we're doing is we're helping. I was predominantly in the social services, You got arts and culture, there's different types of nonprofits. And it was just that ability to help others. And again, because I was a recipient for years. And if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for soup kitchens, if it wasn't for food banks, if it wasn't for shelters, it'd have been really bad. Because what happens when you're hungry and you can't eat, you're angry. When you can't find a place to lay down because you want to get out the street, you want to get out the mix, you're angry. Okay? When you don't have anybody that seems to care about you, counselors, get a bag from the food bank, whatever it may be, you feel less than. And people that feel less than hurt people. Okay?
Yeah.
Because there's a thought also that goes through, you're jealous, you're envious of those with. Now, they don't have your addiction, they don't have some of the problems you may have, but all you're seeing is why they got it so easy.
Yeah.
Some people got it easier than others. So anyway, and I've been there, and I'll tell you, of all of them, it's probably hunger. Being hungry, I mean, really hungry, and not having the means. This is the craziest thing. I'll go do an armed robbery, but I won't shoplift. Isn't that crazy? But I'm crazy. On the street. Crazy.
Yeah.
But I won't go into the Safeway and grab something because I was around hundreds of homeless people.
Right.
In 20 years, thousands. And they're like, well, I'm hungry. I just go to the deli part and order whatever food I want and eat it in the aisle. And then I leave. I'm like, wow.
Right.
Okay. But I wouldn't do that. Would not shoplift. I'll do some crazy things, but I won't shoplift.
So that's where the nonprofit.
Yep. Yeah, that's where the love came. And that was 2010. I fell in love with the people too. Some of the nicest people as a group. I mean, I'll give you an example, what I mean by that. So used car salesmen have a bad reputation. Lawyers have a bad reputation. And I believe for good reason. Okay. Copier salesmen because I worked with them, have a bad reputation. Okay. Nonprofit, people who will go in there, work for less to give back to society, whether it's arts, environment, doesn't matter to me. What type of nonprofit? They're just nice people because they want to give back. They're altruistic. There's two groups of people I think are the nicest people I've met as a group, and that's the nonprofit and then also long distance runners. There's something about being able to run, 10Ks or half marathons and marathon. It's hard to be a bad person and do that. I don't know what it is about it. I could take some time and think about it, but I definitely know I've run enough races. Some of the nicest people are,
Right.
and then also
people that have they use it for their profit.
right, but those people are not the ones that I associate with, and those are the ones we look at scans. I have a code of ethics with my
Right.
association, and I live by that code of ethics. I mean, I taught it yesterday, the Donor Bill of Rights, okay? And then there's AFP code of ethics. So I teach this.
I see a lot of breast cancer organizations, and they're doing this nonprofit, and I'm like, but where is the money going?
Right.
Is it going in your pocket, or is it really going to research? So for me, I don't, no.
But so that's cancer.
Right.
I understand what you're saying. And there's some very, very large organizations but you can always walk down the street, go to a food bank and, donate some food. I'm not telling you what I'm just saying.
No, I understand.
Okay.
I just have that problem when
with some of the larger ones.
Yeah. So we won't name names, but yes.
Yeah, because I could talk about this for the next 10 hours. I'm in this world. I've been at this world at the international level.
We should
Kevin
get to 100
Boardman.
for 10 hours so people won't think I'm crazy when I'm trying to explain.
Oh yeah, you're not crazy. So what it comes down to is that most men and many women, but it's more men, are selfish by nature. And they're self-centered because they're not God-centered. They
Right.
don't have a way of running. Well, we have a thing that I've been taught, a thing called vertical alignment.
Right.
And we talk about what is vertical alignment. Vertical alignment is how do you make decisions? And what we do in vertical alignment, again, the way I've taught and the way I teach, is we put God first. What would be God's will in this? Not the thing that gives you the most pleasure or minimizes opportunities for discomfort or pain, because that's the real reason why we do a lot of the things that are our will in opposition to God's will. So number one is God. Number two is my wife, period, when I make decisions. Then there's a space, and it's my kids, grandkids, extended family. Then it's my friends. And then I'm like usually fifth or sixth down on the line in my vertical alignment. But the first two are the most important by far. But then again, God's will even, there's sometimes I've made decisions for my wife and I or the family because with counsel, I did what I thought was the best thing for the family or the best thing for my wife.
Right.
And, and now she trusts me so, but early on in marriage, sometimes, but again, a man of many counselors is a wise man. That's from Proverbs. And what I do is I have some fantastic individuals with discernment and maturity that I can turn to. And the funny thing is, there's people that turn to me for that same thing. But again, we have generations that I work with in, especially Black men. That's who I mentor. That we have generations of Black men mentoring Black men. Four generations.
That's what they need.
Yes, they do. Believe me, they do.
Black men because they don't behave like men. And plus
many times we haven't had them.
The fathers are missing out of the
right.
house.
Yeah. We don't have that role model.
I raised a son. There was no male there. So thank God he turned out to be okay. Yes, that was the blessing. He turned out to be okay. You're a certified master trainer. You train people as well?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So they changed the name about 2 years ago because they didn't want the word master in there. So I am the Faculty Training Academy instructor. So it's called Train the Trainer. I teach people how to teach. That's what I do. So certified master trainer.
Be a teacher.
Yes, yeah. And to teach specific courses in fundraising especially.
Oh, okay. I need to send those ladies to you. Because a lot of them, they started these non-for-profit organizations. But I did a little extra work and I looked it up, and some of them don't even have what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There are bad
501c3,
right.
but they don't tell you exactly what are they doing. What are they doing to give back to this community?
Right. And so the IRS can take away that designation, and they have. I remember when they took away 6,000 of them, I believe it was, in Alaska in 2014, because they weren't doing their paperwork correctly or doing their paperwork. Because you got to understand, every Little League, every Kiwanis, every Rotary, those are all nonprofits, every PTA. And so you have this lot of, but again,
those are nonprofit too, huh?
Yeah, you want to be a nonprofit so you don't pay taxes on any income or any donations. So
Okay.
remember, a nonprofit is just what what it means is we don't pay taxes. It's a
Okay.
designation from the IRS, but you have to register with your state. And a lot of ones may not do that, correctly. And you also have to usually register with the Department of Law to solicit funds within that state. And
Oh,
we've run into problems with that. There's a there's a lot of ways, at least I know how I can check if a nonprofit is legitimate or not. You just go to a place called GuideStar and you look up there because they have to have a 990, which is the tax return for nonprofits. They have to do what's called a
okay.
990. And I just go to a place called GuideStar. It's free. And you just type in the name of the organization. It'll tell you if they filed a 990, when was the last time. It'll tell you most of the time who the CEO is, how much that person, because that's public information. And the other thing is, you can go to any nonprofit and ask for their financials. You cannot be a
Oh,
nonprofit without having the
so you have
ability
to be
to go
able to
public.
present your financial
Yes,
condition, your statement of
yes,
financial condition. Okay.
yes,
Oh, okay.
100%. A lot of people don't know this stuff. But remember, this is my world, so I sort of know this
Right.
stuff.
And I work in finance, so that's why I know about that financial statement of condition, because each organization in finance has one at the end of the year,
But
and they show you
many of them
the
get audited.
profitability.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and the president of Denali, what is that?
Well, that's the name of
Denali.
the company. Yeah, that's the
Oh, that's your
fundraising.
company.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's you're the CEO and all of that, and
Yes. Founder and CEO. And
okay.
it's a company that consults on fundraising, nonprofits, and
Mhm.
grants. So we
Oh,
have a particular specialty. We write grants for tribes, for
okay.
Native, Alaska Native and Indian tribes throughout the country.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Large federal grants.
Oh, okay. All right. What? Oh, yeah, because Alaska has the Indians there too.
Yep. Yeah, we call them Alaska Natives.
Yeah, those are the indigenous people.
Mhm. Yes, they are.
Yes. Yes. What changes would you say are still needed to make nonprofit world more inclusive?
Well, the nonprofit world is probably the most inclusive world there is, at least
Oh,
on the staffing side, because we're very, very progressive and liberal. Okay, so we still believe in DEI, even though
okay.
maybe the feds don't. Oh yeah, so a tremendous amount of LGBTQs, a lot of individuals from backgrounds of different races. What we don't have a lot of, but now that you mentioned them, we don't have a lot of Black men in there
Oh,
because it's predominantly, especially in my field, which is developed. So fundraising. Let's go talk about my lane. Because you got programming, you got accounting, you have leadership. But in the fundraising world, it's probably 80% women. And then it's, predominantly white women. And then you will have white guys and Black women. But the smallest group by far is Black men.
oh,
And
okay.
yeah, because a lot of guys don't think it's like cool, or they've never been exposed to it, or they don't think they can make
Right.
any money.
I think that's what it is. They need that exposure.
Yes, yes.
See what
And
it's
I've
really
worked hard to make that a reality. So I
about.
founded an organization called Men of Color in Development. I founded it. It's 450 deep now. Started it
Oh,
4 or 5 years ago. I started the board. I started the organization. And it is a wonderful organization. And then I also have worked with them to get them on stages. I work with the Black Fundraiser to respond to RFPs to speak. I've helped in getting scholarships to go to conferences. Yeah, I've helped to get them so they get their advanced certification, which is called a CFRE. You mentioned it when you introduced me, Certified Fundraising Executive. I
All right, I
work with
looked
them
it
on
up.
that. Yeah, yeah. So because I was very, very concerned that there was so few Black men in the field. And so I like to do, not just talk, but do. And so I did something about it.
You like to give back.
I like to give back, but I give back by doing. For instance, I don't know what your experience has been, but a lot of people can talk. There's not a lot of doers out there.
They don't
Okay.
know. Well, that's how my podcast started.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have money or I'm not look. I just do it because I need to get some words out there. Started with
Yeah.
me, and the only thing I could do is let others come on and tell their detour. And
Yeah.
that was it. Let me ask you something. I just want to go back.
Hmm.
You said that God was there. Did you know about God at the age of 6?
No, not at all.
When did
Zero.
he enter into your life as
Well, my
that
mom's,
anchor that
yeah.
held you together?
So, first of all, that's an interesting question. You get exposed
Hmm.
to God, whether you embrace Him is another thing.
Right.
So, I was exposed to the Bible, I was exposed to church at an early age, but very sporadically.
Okay.
And this is another thing. I never, and I'm going to say never, saw my father in church. And I grew up with him, remember, from
Right.
6
Right.
to 17. This is the adoptive father, Sam, the one who
Right.
shot my
Right.
mother. But
That's your
he
father. Yeah.
zero. Now my mom
Oh.
and I would go to church. So again, as a male, as the only son, I'm looking at my father, and he's not going ever. And then I'm going to church maybe 4 times a year, 5 times a year. And then even then, the church I'm going to is different. Remember, I said I'm a little different. So I'm going to Quaker meetings, Society of Friends.
Oh.
And I don't know if any people are, I'm sure, who are Quaker, and they're very nice people, lovely, but it's different.
Right.
Okay. Quaker meetings are different. Okay. But I'm only going like I said, maybe 4 times a year, 3, 4 times. So there's nothing social in at least the church I went to. There was nothing social. There was no, doing things, on Wednesdays or choir and all that. And I remember it. It's different. So having said all that, my exposure was limited. And then, you do go through a phase, if you so choose to, where you're angry at God. And
Hmm.
due to, by the time I'm in high school, junior high and high school, I'm angry because he put
Right.
me in this situation of so much fear and
Right.
violence. And I'm blaming it on God. Okay. And then, when I get on the streets, I'm angry at God because I can't believe he put me in this situation where this guy's going to shoot me. I can't believe that, or put me in a situation where I'm walking down the street with my pants are soiled, because I'm that nasty.
Right.
Okay. Or I'm doing something that makes me feel less than and devalues me and makes me feel shame based just so I can smoke another rock of crack cocaine. This is your fault, God. Okay.
And you have to take
So,
accountability for the things you were doing.
right. That's not how I'm
But
thinking. Yeah, I'm just
but
being
that
honest
your
with you.
thinking was it was God that was at fault. Why didn't he just come down and handle us, huh?
But that's not how it works. At least that's not how it worked for me.
Well, I know that's not how
Oh,
it
okay.
works,
I'm just saying.
but I'm just saying that
Yeah. Yeah.
from being in a situation, that is how we think that,
Right.
if you're God, why didn't you come down and say, but we make our own choices.
Yeah, we do. But I just talked about this, I think yesterday, day before with someone. And what we talked about was being a victim and how inimical or how bad that is to you as a person when you identify as a victim. Because what it does, it takes away your agency, takes away your power, because it says, no matter what, I'm going to be a victim. So
Right.
why should I try to change anything? Why should I try to get well? Why should I start going to meetings? Why should I stop doing these behaviors that make me feel less than? Because I'm a victim. Okay. When we articulate and we start doing I am statements, which were called statements of being, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Because again, you've now taken away not only your power, but you've also taken away the power of allowing another presence or power to come in to assist you, because you've already made that determination or choice that I am a victim. So
Right.
one of the things I talk about also when I'm working with my guys or talking from the stage is I talk about when you talk about your story, and I'm talking about you have a life story. Everybody has this life arc story. Try not to make yourself the victim or the hero. Just be human. Just be who you are, a child of God. But this is my experience. This is my story. You've heard me talk about a lot of things that did not make me the hero. Okay, you believe that. Of course, I've had some positive things that happen. Well, that's a truth. But I'm not the hero, and nor am I the victim. I'm just a mere child of God. I'm just Ken. That's why I wrote the book. I just wanted to be
Right.
Ken.
Coming Ken, right?
Yeah, becoming kin, because that's not what I was called in a lot of different places. Okay.
No.
I was called drug addict. I was called threat to society. I was called criminal. I was called punk. I was called, and I could just go on and on and on.
And they gave you labels that weren't you.
Exactly. That was not my identity. It might have been my identity, but I choose today that it is not my identity. I'm just Ken Miller, child of God. I love that because that's what I'm talking about, encompassing the whole of mankind, the whole of this world. I'm just a child of God. Okay. And because that is my God, because that is my Father, I am going to respect him by doing my best to do his will.
Right.
Okay. And people say, well, you do his will all the time. Or this is another thing. A lot of people mix this up. My will and God's will are in alignment like 99% of the time as a habit. I mean, what they call congruence. Every once in a while, and God has given me the ability to stop and think before I make that next decision. 1 or 2% of the time, I'm in prayer, and we can call it meditation, to try to understand what is God's will. And then I also pray for the courage, power, fortitude to carry out that physical next thing I need to do. Okay.
Oh, so you really got grounded and rooted in your faith. I see.
Yeah,
What kind of
I
church
am.
you go to now? Not a Quaker church, though.
No, it sure isn't. No, it's interesting. So I used to go to Baptist. I used to go to Foursquare. Today, my wife is Episcopalian. So I go to the Episcopal Church. Wonderful church. And there's some things I miss from my Baptist church.
Sure.
I'll keep it real. You know that I will keep it
I
real.
go to one, so I know.
Yeah. So my wife's Alaska Native. She's Alaska Native.
Oh,
Okay. So she grew up in the Episcopalian church. And I miss the music sometimes. I miss the people sometimes. You know what I'm talking about. The black folks.
yeah.
sometimes. But I'm there for the message. And
Right.
I'm there for 2 to 3 hours just to shut down the world and be
Mhm.
in communion. I use the word communion. And I'm focused. I'm focused
Okay.
on the message. I'm focused on the liturgy. I'm focused on the songs that we do sing.
For
um,
the
I'm
music.
focused on that. Yeah. And it's
Okay.
a beautiful church, beautiful church. Um, but all churches are beautiful in their own way, whether it's, a storefront. I've been in those. I've heard some of the best messages ever from a storefront church that had 14 people in there, plus the preacher. I'm there for, I love messages. You can probably tell. I
Oh,
love.
okay. You're a listener. That's why.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. You listen.
Yes,
So you walk away with a lot. But you're near California, right?
I'm
Or you're
in
in
Bellingham,
you're in
Washington.
the state of Washington?
Yes, I am.
Or
Yes. Yeah, I'm like 10 miles away from the border, Canada.
you're all the way up there. Huh?
You're all the way up there. I'm done all the way.
Does it get cold up there? No.
It really, it snows like once or twice for like an inch. So remember, I grew up in Alaska, so there's nothing. It's more wet in the winter. It's cooler. It'll be in the 40s and 50s. 50s is
I've
high.
been
Maybe
there
40.
a long time ago,
Beautiful
and
country.
I went. Um, it was raining like a mist,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah, it's
was
out there. Well, it was raining a couple days ago, raining yesterday, even though this year
it was like
has.
a mist of rain. It
Mhm.
was March too.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
weather
that's a
was
rainy
nice.
season. That's rainy season.
You didn't need a coat on. You need a sweater, but it was
Mhm.
the mist that was coming down. Oh, okay, I know. Okay, so let me see. All right. Okay, let me see. You already had, I'm telling you, I didn't even need this.
No, you didn't. All you have to do is say a word and I can talk on it. So, what word do you have that you'd like to hear my truth on?
Have your children, have they know your story too?
Of course.
Okay. No,
The
because
book
some
is
people,
the book is, so let me talk about children. Let me just talk about that. One of my, yeah, and I'll just use it because I want to be not sensitive to this, but one of my great regrets is I don't have any biological children. Okay. I
okay.
don't. Okay. I've been married 3 times. My first wife divorced. I was in my addiction. My second wife passed away
I'm
from
sorry
a
to hear that.
disease. And then now I'm married to my third wife. She has children, 3 adult children, and I'm 63. I know better than to mention her age on a national podcast. And and but we have the grandkids, and that's
And
my
your papa, right?
yes, and they love G-Pod. They just love me. So we had one last night. We'll have another different one tonight.
Oh,
And
and they
what a
probably never want to go
blessing.
home because they can do whatever they want to do over there.
Oh man. Popsicle. I ain't 2 years old and want a popsicle. But yeah, especially my wife spoils. Um,
I think you do.
yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, you and your nieces, they know your
Yep.
okay, they know your story too though. Right?
Everybody
Your,
does.
oh, okay.
Everybody knows my story. It's in the
They
book,
read the
number
book.
one.
I was gonna say if they read the book, they'll know the whole
Yeah.
thing.
But this is the other thing. When I was dating on the first date, I always told everyone, I want you to, because I don't want you to hurt later on. This guy's a three-time
You don't want
convicted.
anybody to hear from
Right,
somebody getting free.
right. And then don't have the understanding of the interpretation because I hate to say it again, Francis, I'm a little unusual. My recovery and the things I have accomplished are rare for a 20-year crack addict, 3-time convicted felon. Most of my individuals that I associated are either dead, and I mean dead, they're in their addiction, or they're back in the penitentiary. That is probably 80 to 90% of the people that I knew and associated with. I lost 22 people in 1 year, dead. 22 people. That's the type of people I associated with. They weren't all killed. They died cirrhosis of the liver, esophageal, hemorrhaging, suicide, murder, but they're dead. And they died on the streets or in lockup or in the hospital, wherever it may be. But that's who I associate. So again, I am blessed. And so you wonder why I do what I do. When you understand the severity of my tumble, and and this is me talking to myself, I understand where I've been. I'm so grateful. But I don't just talk gratitude, I do gratitude. I mentor men for free. I underwrite and provide scholarships. I have employees. I have contractors that I pay from my businesses. I have speaking engagements that I do for free. No, I don't do them for free. They cost me $1,500, $2,000 to go speak, to share on hiring ex-offenders. Okay.
Oh.
I went up and flew up and did that. I'm going to Vermont in 2 weeks. It's going to cost me $1,200, $1,400 to speak for free on nonprofit.
Do you ever come to the East Coast?
All the time. I've been all on the East Coast multiple times this year.
New York, they could use you.
I was in New York last week.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I grew up in New York. So I mean, my mom, my birth mother is buried in New York. My adoptive is buried in Detroit. But I'm in New York. Yeah, I was in New York, what, a week and a half ago.
But
yeah, I was on the
here, right?
4th Street, Avenue A.
Oh, you were in the Lower East Side.
Lower East Side, Alphabet City, baby. Let's come on, literally. Yeah, I know why. NYU, you know. Yeah,
So you know people up here then?
In New York?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my best friend's in New York, and my cousin.
Oh, okay. So you do have family up here still.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, remember, the family was originally from New York. So, we had family in Manhattan and Harlem, Lower East Side, and in Brooklyn. And then, of course, I grew up in Middletown, which I don't know if you're familiar with. Yeah, up in Orange County. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm in Dutchess County, so I know where that is.
Yeah, Suffolk, Dutchess, Ulster. I know all that.
And I grew up in the Bronx, so I know.
Ooh-wee. Down there on Intervale, Fox, Simpson.
No. On Gundula Road.
Fort Apache. I know you was down there doing that.
No, Gundula Road. No, I was too scared about over there.
Bronx High School of Science,
Yes.
Cardozo College.
Yeah, all those things are still there. Except a lot of the high schools now, they call them campuses where they put charter schools. Why, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
High school is Evander Childs campus. Columbus campus. Roosevelt campus. So within that, there's like 5 charter schools in there.
Yeah, Little Red Schoolhouse. I grew up upstate, but so I was born in Glen Cove.
Okay.
On Long Island. And then when my last foster home was in Amityville. So very familiar, with that area of Long Island. Because I remember going to Jones Beach in 67, 68. One of my earliest memories was Jones Beach. And the old Palisades, back when they had the amusement park. Before they burnt down. Yeah, I remember you look over the river.
Buildings over.
Yeah, and it had the roller coaster, great roller coaster, but Coney Island.
The roller coaster, but I remember.
Oh, you got me thinking about stuff I haven't thought about in decades.
Did you ever meet any your father's family, your biological
Yes,
father?
yes, 100. So we're from Columbus, Georgia. So I
Okay.
went down there and went to the home he grew up in, or at least my grandmother. She was the matriarch of the family, and this is Southern, Southern Black, Columbus, Georgia. I'll never forget. I sat down with one of the old timers, and because my father died in '76, so I never met him. But this is crazy. So my father impregnated 3 white teenage girls,
Really?
which to this day blows me away. 52, 62, and 65. Those are my sisters. Okay.
Wow.
And I mean, to me, I did. And anyway, so I'm talking to him, and he said, yeah, I remember your papa. He liked them white girls. We had to send him up north because they weren't playing that in Georgia in the
Oh,
40s.
so
And I
that's
never
how
forget.
it came up here.
Yes. Yeah, well, yeah. We had to send, because that's what they call it. We had to send them up north,
Right. Because he
And
was in
so,
trouble down there, down
oh,
south.
he'd have been in big trouble. Big trouble. They
Wow.
weren't playing that. They weren't playing that.
Oh, so you
Even
know those
still.
sisters too, then.
Huh?
You know those sisters, the white
Yeah,
sisters you've
yeah,
met.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But they're mixed. They're all mixed because he's black. So
Oh, okay.
I have one white sister for
Right,
my
from your
mother,
mom.
my biological mother, and then so you call half sister, and then I have 2 other half sisters, one in Seattle and one in Delaware. And this is the crazy thing:
Oh, so the one
we're
in
all adoptive children. We're all adopted, and we all found each other through the DNA, and we all have college degrees. My one is a retired professor, and the other one of psychology, I believe, and the other one is a retired English teacher. And then I was an English major in college. What are the chances of that happening? So I'm somewhat a believer in biological, nature versus nurture. That we have some genetic predisposition to literally intelligence because they're all very intelligent foster kids. It's crazy.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Your mother would be very happy. Well,
Oh,
all the mothers would be very happy. Your father should be very happy.
yeah. I don't know if my father would, just
No, he
because
busy
of
doing
his
his thing.
background. He's a drug dealer and a
Oh,
pimp.
yeah, that's
I
right.
know that for a fact. Okay.
Oh, he was a pimp too. He was a drug dealer and a pimp.
I'm just going to say this, and I'm not going to make any assumptions. 35-year-old married black men do not meet 17-year-old white females and
Okay,
get into
I got
relationships
yeah.
who are runaways.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. All right.
Gotcha. Okay.
That
Get it? Yeah. Let's put 2 and 2 together. Okay.
I
So,
put it together. But
oh, I
Karen,
got to and I unfortunately I have to get going. I have another meeting.
no, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm getting ready to
Okay.
wrap it up. What an unforgettable conversation. Ken Miller reminds
Yes.
us that redemption isn't reserved for the perfect, it's written for the willing. His life is a living testimony that God can rebuild the broken and turn pain into purpose. If this episode spoke to your heart, share it with someone who needs a reminder that their detour can still lead to destiny. To learn more about Ken's work, visit Denali FSP or KenMillerSpeaks.com. Here on the Unexpected Detour, we honor every road that shaped us, the broken ones, the brave ones, and the blessed ones. Until next time, reminding you to keep walking your journey with faith, resilience, and love leading the way. Okay. What? Uh-oh. What? Oh, here it is. Okay. Trying to pause this. This is crazy.